But here in this room, we're going to be talking about tech as a margin multiplier and unlocking the profitability in food delivery. We've got a great panel with us. We have Ahmed Raza, CEO of Barbecue Nation. Amit Advani, founder of Nomad Pizza. Jakpreet Babla, CEO of McDonald's. Nagaswamy Anavalan, Director Dindigul Alapatti. Rajat Luthra, CEO of Third Wave Coffee. Shakir Haq, Director and CEO of NKP Empire Ventures. And to moderate the session, we have Ashish Tulsian, co-founder and CEO, Restaurants. Gentlemen.
Hello. Wow,
Okay, hang on a second. You actually brought a fan following with you? He's brought a fan following with him?
Shakir is the star. He has a fan following. But we'll also Paytm you later. Hi all, welcome back. This is probably going to be one of the most difficult sessions post-lunch. I really hope we don't contribute to your sleepiness in case food has contributed to that. How many of us, guys, I think we're going to keep this a little interactive. I'm going to come back to you guys. At least I'll try to come back to you guys to ask you questions. How many of you agree with margin being under pressure? As restaurateurs, how many of you feel that number one problem that we have today is margins? I have a question. The ones who are not raising their hands, can you come on the panel? Because we all are quite stressed. I've been a restaurateur, I said in my keynote in the morning, I've been a restaurateur, I've been on that side of the table. And though I try to pretend to talk sense, but in the world of social media, what I've realized is कि जब भी मैं काम की बात करता हूँ, बहुत कम लोग सुनते हैं। मैंने कभी बकवास कर दी कहीं पे, वो वायरल हो गया। So one day I said it on a podcast. Somebody said, "So what do you recommend, for people to start their own restaurant?" So I said, अगर किसी से दुश्मनी हो और उससे बदला लेना, तो help them open a restaurant, leave them alone. आपका रिवेंज पूरा हो जाएगा। मैंने उस पॉडकास्ट में 500 और अच्छी बातें बोली। I promise, nobody heard that. This reel went viral, 20 million, and my team was hitting me. कि आप किस साइड? We run a restaurant tech company. हमारा धर्म है रेस्टोरेंटर्स की मदद करना और उनके ऑलरेडी थिनिंग मार्जिन में से थोड़ा सा और मार्जिन ले लेना। But without further ado, I'm going to introduce our panel, and we're going to dive straight into our topic. So, or would you like to? I think let's pick the mic. If you can just tell your name, your brand, and what you do, like 10 seconds each. Shakir, we start with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ashish. It's an absolute pleasure to be here amongst such distinguished leaders. I come from Bangalore. I'm a third generation entrepreneur. We own a family business. It's called Empire Restaurants. And we manage a range of brands from dining to delivery first formats. So here I think I'm going to be sharing a lot of insights and really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakir. Jakpreet.
Hello everyone. So I'm Jakpreet from Mumbai. I manage technology at Hardcastle Restaurants. And
that's McDonald's.
That's McDonald's for West and South India. We manage about 450 restaurants, and I've been with the company for about 4.5 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Nagaswamy Kanapalan. I am from a small town called Dinnikal from Tamil Nadu. At present, we run largest biryani chain in India that's called the biggest of If you Google it, you can know it. So, thank you so much. So, we are, we have a few restaurants in abroad. Sri Lanka has been our most favorite biryani country now. After we are again the largest biryani chain in Sri Lanka. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amay. I'm the founder of Nomad Pizza.
Guys, come on, you can appreciate that.
We started Nomad Pizza 5 years back, and now, it's in 19 cities. Really proud of what we've created, and really looking forward to this panel discussion. I think margin is really where at least we are struggling. So I will have my point of view.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rajat, and I'm the CEO with Third Wave Coffee. Right, we've got around 150 stores as of today, and a lot more under construction. Right, so hopefully we should be double the size by the end of next year. I'm really looking forward to this discussion because margins is something I guess all of us need in this business. All right, because without margins, I guess nothing looks good. Yeah. So let's see how the discussion goes.
Thank you. Ahmed.
Hello. Hi everyone, good afternoon. Myself Ahmed Raza. I am representing Barbecue Nation over here. I am the part of the tech team, means managing the business technology. I am managing 200 plus restaurants of the Barbecue Nation, and tech being the front player in the Barbecue Nation in all the aspects, whether it's ironing or delivery or various ventures which we are doing. Thank you very much. Look forward to the session.
Thank you, Ahmed. So guys, if I rehash the panel for you, we have 4 CEOs representing iconic brands in various parts of India, and we have 2 technology leaders also representing iconic brands at scale. So we'll dive immediately. We'll start with Shakil. Shakil, margin is the biggest problem, and I personally believe, given that I had a restaurant back in 2010, 2011, and when I look at last, I don't know, if I have to pick 9 years, a restaurant business which was supposed to be 85% to 65% gross margins and 35 to 25% net margins has been reduced to barely single-digit, EBITDA targets. What's contributing, to this? How do you define your margin profile right now? And then, if you can comment on what's eating those margins the most, what's your focus as a CEO, today?
I think Ashish, see, back in the days, like you said, it used to be, our prime cost would be sitting less than 50%, I would say, where the second generation could take home at least 25%. But today, it's come down to a single digit, and even to sustain that has become a challenge when you're at scale. So in today's environment, there are a lot of these cost factors which create these leakages. Like, starting from poor efficiencies, labor management, wastages, and to an extent in today's context, we're talking about aggregator commissions also, which can go up to 25-28% high. So what I think is, the scale and profitability are not inherently at odds, but you need a controlled, quality-driven scale wherein it's going to take time. And you need to understand your customer profile, your product profile, and what kind of margins you can deliver when you're at a certain scale. And when you're at a certain scale, yes, a lot of tech, a lot of SOP-driven processes need to be there wherein you require a systematic change. And if you don't foresee that, I think it's going to be difficult for you to sustain. What you have built over time can go away in a much faster time. Yes.
Can you give me an example? And I would urge to have an example from your business, at the risk of spilling your secrets or your pains out. What are the top 2 or 3 holes in margin that you have experienced or you are experiencing right now, which you have either plugged or you want to plug?
I think I would start with our wastages, because when you're a mass brand and you're operating multiple outlets, the wastages had to be, actually accounted for, and that never happened. And another leakage would be from the labor or the people, because these are the people who create.
What's the tolerance?
See, I would say a tolerance of maximum 2%. And over time, I think we were sitting at a 3 or 4% of wastages, because everything was being processed at the restaurant. As we centralized most of the back-end processes, we could reduce the wastage to a 1.8%. And I'm being very specific there because we have data which is managed that over time. And this is over a year and a half that we're able to manage and bring down the scale. So controlled SOP-driven processes, and at the same time having that tech where you get that visibility from your procurement till your consumption that happens. So the major leakages in our brands that we have seen is wastages and people management. So here is where it all starts from.
Awesome. I'll jump to Satish. Same question. What are the key holes in your margin that you recognize are holes that are bleeding, and what parts have you been able to plug or are planning to plug?
See, initially, what we did is we looked at the food cost first. Earlier, biryani is being highest selling food for us, and we used the other products for meat or proteins, which is giving us a low gross margin business for us. We have to be very careful on that part. So we always count this as a portion, number of portions. We eat 1 kg of any number of portions, how much we sell, how much the wastage is in the particular restaurants, we calculate on that. And so food cost also we divide into 2 parts. That is one CK cost. CK, what is your food cost coming from? And what is your wastage which is happening in our operations side? What is your TO versus actual? And what is the actual wastage which is happening? And the people have to enter every day the wastages, even if it is biryani or even the gravy or the raitas which is getting wasted has to be entered in the kg. So that we, from 48% our food cost was, now we have brought it down to 10% down with that.
How much?
10%. So that means that there are a lot of leakages which happened before using the.
So you said your food cost was 40%?
48%.
48.
That including packaging cost, 48% we added. That we brought it to around 30-40% now. So we had a good 8% we save on EBITDA that we did it. And second, on employer cost, what we felt is to increase the labor or in particular restaurant, we were not concentrating on the online based food part. So now we started concentrating on the online food part. So if 10 labor is giving me 1 lakh revenue, how I can improve from 10 labor 1.25 lakhs of revenue. That also we have included bringing cocoa.
That's you're talking about revenue per employee.
Yeah, revenue per employee kind of thing. Yeah. So with this too, we being a major, we control majorly on the we increased our margins. And third, what we did is we tied up with Zomato and Swiggy. They have helped us a lot. 3 years back, we were not much into, as I said, the online business. Now we are bringing out new labels, new brands, sub-brands in Talpagadi itself as combos. We are coming in, and confis we are coming in. So this will increase our revenue per store. So average revenue per store. That is also increasing in margins. So this is the way we are controlling our, we are increasing our margins in our property.
That are some very, very strong numbers. I'll move on to Amit. What's happening at Nomad Pizza? What are the top priorities and margin goals that you recognize?
Thank you. At Nomad, we are a very high AOV brand, 1350 AOV brand, and I think the biggest component where we really do our work is the food cost, as we rightly mentioned. I think that contributes to almost 30-35% of the total P&L. And you start working on that, I think a bunch of answers are there. And that really happens by really identifying what your wastages are, what kind of products which are not getting sold, how do I discard those products, Because sometimes what happens is we try to say that, oh, this is a great product which we've launched and it's doing great in Delhi, so the assumption is going to do great in other cities, other parts of the cities as well. So understanding the target audience based on which customizing your menu is really important, and that's really what we do because the product is very expensive. Okay, it's not a 200 rupee pizza which we're trying to sell. So again, like food cost, the wastage is a very high.
What's your in pizza business? What's your tolerance on wastages? And how bad have you seen? And what's good?
So the tolerance should be anywhere between 1.5%, but it can go up to 7 to 8%. We've seen wastages going up to 8%. But by closely monitoring, you really can get it down to 1.5%, because if you look at pizza, like if you break down the components, there's not much of a wastage which is there. It's just that people misuse it, and that's why how to basically keep those products in the right temperature is also very important. So setting up those SOPs will reduce the wastages, and I think so. By reducing it by 2 or 3% overall, the margin starts looking really good. So I think bunch of our work goes in terms of sorting the wastages in different outlets. Because now we have 19 cities, and the thing is that the spread is such that in certain cities there is only one outlet, and when it's so linear, your chances of wastage are very high. Like in the Jaipur, the wastage will be much higher versus what's happening in the NCR. So again, you need to monitor those small towns and say, how do I get the wastage down?
Thank you. Rajat.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for us at Third Wave Coffee, so the biggest places where we feel that margins can come through, right? As everyone just said, is through the food wastages, right? Controlling the wastages, and also from the labor. So these are the two ones. But since we are discussing delivery here specifically, also, I would say a speed of service also plays a very important role in either enhancing or reducing your margins. So to take top 3 for us, important is the wastages. Right, so the tolerance level which we have was different last year, and now it's like our tolerance levels are around 1.5%.
And what were last year?
I mean, we had a higher tolerance level. We felt that yes, I mean, it has to become better, because if we have to get the margins right, this should, I mean, our tolerance level should not be any different than the industry benchmark, right? So that's where it is, right? So. On labor also, that how do we optimize every single second of labor? It's very important to optimize every, and that's the key word, or a key quote in our meetings, revenue is vanity and margins is sanity, right? So you need to actually look at every aspect of the labor, right? And define and hard-code the processes, right? And make sure that every process is being followed, because that's where you can efficiently use the labor, because it's very you have cases in places and so forth, right? So to us, the margins can, if you're using if you're optimizing at every step, learning at every step, reducing it at reducing the cost at every step, or reducing steps itself. Helps in bringing in a lot of margins, right? So that's where I guess every transaction has to be meaningful with margins in a delivery business, and if it is not, then then the business is
in the second segment, I'm going to come back to you and start with how did you bridge the gap or efficiency gap in speed of service. But on that, I would love to talk to, let's say, to Ahmed. Ahmed, you've been the technology leader at Barbecue Nation, and 4 CEOs have talked about. I'm sorry guys, my throat is really bad. So 4 CEOs have talked about the biggest holes in margin that they're talking about, right? As a technology leader, what has been your experience in being on the side of the table where you're supposed to plug them, and how did that tech journey look like? If you can actually touch upon, let's say, the challenges that you have seen, and then come on to the solutions and how they improve the real numbers.
Correct. Yeah, hi everyone. So the challenges over here, what like everybody has the challenge, like the basic challenges are there, which is common for all, like wastages, aggregators, commissions, all those things are there. But when we are scaling, there's a large number of restaurants, knowing that information, because the people or the operator will come to know about that after a month's time. If suppose when somebody is saying 1.8% of the wastage, when he will come to know? He will come to know after 1 month. So if anything preventive action to be taken, it takes again 1 more month. So everything is every project or every input is a cycle of 3 months, just to work on and try to do something. In this case, the tech comes into the picture. What we see at Barbecue Nation, any initiatives, anything, what we discuss, technology is always a part. We term is at a business ID, not just an ID. When anything needs to be done, how do we drive with the system? How the information? So my core important thing, my core, you can say, purpose is to keep my operators informed. IT cannot do anything, but IT can only give the information. Right action needs to be taken by the operators, because they know well. Technology cannot do the things. Technology keep you informed. That's the main thing what I'm see, because I am working with Barbecue Nation from 12 years. What we have seen from initial days that one report need to come and then somebody will taking some information, reading it out, taking some actions. How do we make sure, plus within the same organization, if we sit in a meeting, 10 different people will be referring 10 different Excel sheets. Then, in spite of discussing on the problems, we will start validating each other's Excel sheets. So these are the challenges which we have seen in my initial period when we have started, because the operators are not also very much verge of using the systems every time. They feel that okay, PPD and Excel are good enough. So these were the challenges as faced. But over a period of time, like we told, no, everything has to pass on through systems only. And when everything will pass on through the systems only, the information what is needed, if that information is not coming in the right time, it is of no use. So right time means instantly, if something goes wrong, it has to go to the right person on the right time. Then only that the action can be taken. That way, in one word, if I have to say, keeping operator informed is the key role what I am playing.
You mean, I think what you're talking about is real-time insights that are delivered, in time, and that's a very, very valid point. And I think Excel's, I hope we don't have anybody like that on the panel, but I really cringe. I run into CEOs, operators, CEOs and COOs who at times, even till today, will fashionably say, I don't look into tech. And I generally look at them and I'm like, what does that even mean? Because if you're not looking into tech, you should start looking into it, not because you need to run the tech, but because data needs to be delivered on time, and just as delayed is just as denied on data. On that, Japri, what has been your experience? And I'm going to layer that question because perception is, अगर मैं भी भीड़ में बैठे हुए किसी आदमी से पूछूंगा कि हार्ट कैसल में या मैकडॉनल्ड्स में कोई प्रॉब्लम है क्या, so they will say, अरे ये तो अमेरिकन चेन है, इनका सब सेट है, इनका तो सब ऊपर से बन के आता है और सीधा कस्टमर के मुंह में चला जाता है, इनको कुछ नहीं करना होगा. तो हमें ये जानना है कि how bad was bad for you and what does Japri do अगर मैकडॉनल्ड्स का सब सेट ही है.
I'm happy to answer that. Thank you for the question. But first I'll start with the main question, which is the margin question. So building on what Ahmed said, and we based on the insights we've got that what is not measured is not managed. So what tech can bring in first of all is better measurement, real-time measurement, and like Ahmed was also touching upon, so my intro is also going back after the launch. So second thing that we can do is disseminate that information in real time, quick time to the relevant person. and relevant person can be the operator, or it can be the restaurant manager, or it can be the procurement person, right? Supply chain. So getting that information out there right in time is the first thing we can have to, as tech, to protect margins. Secondly, restaurant costs, if you look at, there is a large part of fixed costs. We sell one pizza or one burger or 10,000 burgers, going to remain the same. Where we can help is we can activate new channels for the restaurant. Delivery is one, digital dining. We can even improve customer experience using technology so that the customer can, the restaurant can serve more people and the proportion of fixed costs decreases.
I'll ask you a pointed question that, in your experience in last couple of years, have you experienced improvement in margin as an acknowledgement from your operators basis some pieces of tech that you implemented?
So, not easy to answer. We have not talked explicitly about margins. Maybe that's organizational culture. For tech, costs are an important parameter. So how we have brought down costs within the function and also with other functions. And I have multiple examples like screens in restaurants, what they used to cost and how those can be cut down. So how tech can intervene, put in better solutions, put in efficiencies to decrease costs in their own function, other function is something we have seen multiple times. We did not discuss, or we do not normally discuss in terms of margins.
Well, that's okay. But I think if we still hold upon the costs, can you give us two examples of two pieces of tech that really resulted in reduction of cost or increment in efficiency?
Okay. So one is, like I touched upon, the screens, I will not use numbers obviously, but the screens that we use in restaurants, which are the digital menu boards.
The self-ordering kiosks.
The digital menu. So they were a large piece of the cost. If you have several hundred restaurants, the costs add up. Through optimizations and better vendor partnerships and strategic vendor partnerships, long-term partnerships, we were able to control those costs in a 70%. So again, it is about identifying the right partners and evaluating them and making sure they're fulfilling the order. So that could be one example. Another is something which has cost as well as scalability in question. So for our delivery integrations and answer to your question, what I do, we have our own in-house delivery app, which is a decent portion of our overall delivery business, which my team has built and managed. So that's part of what we do. And it was last 2-3 years we put in app modernization, where our infrastructure costs are now more, I would say they are entirely what I would call variable costs, but they are moving more towards variable costs. In bigger ones we have bigger costs, in smaller ones we have smaller costs. So that direct pressure on margin from infrastructure has decreased to some degree. So those are two examples.
That is super, and I think I'm not surprised because McDonald's is leading, globally in this area where the kind of digital front end towards customers. McDonald's, I think, was the first one even before COVID to say that one day we will have restaurants which will be without a point of sale system as a manned person, where it's going to be completely digital. So so that's great. I'll go back to Emma and then rest of them. Emma, can you tell us one or two examples of tech pieces that you implemented and resulted in better margins, or as Jagmeet said, lower costs?
Fine. See, at my end, I have clear-cut things like it has implemented 4 years back, like hybrid model of capturing the order, like self-app and self-website ordering. From that, so I'm not 100% dependent on aggregator. 15 to 20% of my orders comes from my own platform.
Sorry, how much?
15 to 20% of my overall orders. So that has helped, because we can't go without the aggregator. That is the situation we are. But at least how much we can become hybrid. So that bringing one platform, bringing in one app and website has helped us in terms of margin. Obviously, there we wanted more of a customer experience, and hence we have passed on maximum things to the consumer itself. But obviously that has helped in the margin to a good extent. Because if you see there, the aggregator commissions, many things have been gone over there. So that's the reason that is one tech part which has given a huge margin jump and confidence in our own ops team. Yes, we can do on our own also, not just from one part. So that is also one of the important part. Plus, recently, 1 year back, we have implemented a system like what needs to be ordered. If my forecasting is saying this much order will come, based on we have the entire data history of last 5 years, 10 years, this day, this time, how much order will come. It is 80 to 95% it is right. So based on that order, what the restaurant team needs to order from my dark kitchens or from my stores. That ordering, like main wastage in the ordering is the packaging material, because that gets lost or that gets damaged very fast. Right packaging ordering with the systems, okay, this much is needed. We have done that tech part which has helped us to optimize my wastage to the level of 8 to 10%. And maximum cost which is going is in the packaging material, because other cost which is food, because we are primarily a dining driven system, the food get consumed in the dining part, that we don't see 100% as the wastage. But the packaging, we can't do much. They have piled up. If the things are piled up, it will break and this and there are a lot of damages over there. So that system which is helping me to this much to order. 1 or 2 times some orders, sometimes some outlets, maximum order comes, they might go out of stock, but those are out of 3 months, some one day which will happen at one particular store in Noida or one particular store in South. Due to that, we are not going ahead, we are not going back, okay, we should do it manually. But whatever manual knowledge is there, that again I am translating into the system. If this event is there, it might give me more orders. So these 2 things which I say has truly helped.
I mean, that is great. I think for the audience, the point that Ahmed made is brilliant. Forecasting. How strongly can you forecast your sales, your demand rather, is going to be, so instrumentally strong in your sales, in your bottom line. And one plug here, at 4 p.m., I don't know what's going to be time now, but I think 4 or 5 p.m. we are running a workshop with Sumit Gulati of Culture 2. And they're at much smaller scale right now as compared to people here. But what Sumit comes with is a great mechanism to do their forecasting right. And forecasting is one of the ways how they control their costs. I would invite any of you who's interested in this, to that workshop. But back to, thank you, Emma. Great points. Rajat, what pieces of tech, in your organization are enabling margins? 1 or 2 practical examples where you see costs getting better, margins.
So, coming specifically again to delivery. So delivery is that you want to maximize the number of orders. You need to maximize the number of orders in delivery, right? So that's an important part in that. So at the tech, we work. The tech is helping us out in the speed of service, right? Because things like mark food rating is very critical, right? The sooner you do, right, your algorithms with aggregators are better, right? So you can, your kitchen preparation times, the study of kitchen preparation times, and then looking at all your processes to make it much better day in, day out, right? Because delivery is all about speed, right? The faster, you want to reach them faster. So you need to study your own processes on speed, right? Because you can't be faster than your slowest processes, right? So if you want your orders to be out in 7-8 minutes, you need to actually study every step, right? So tech is actually helping us out to study those steps, right? And actually improving them day day and night. I mean, we used to have the Mark food ready at around 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Now you dropped it down to 5 minutes, right? So that also helps your algorithms, your ratings to go up to around 4.6, 4.7, and that's exactly, besides the brand love, these things do help in getting the order. So that's one big thing that we're working towards, right? And again, on the wastages and deployment of the right people at the right time is extremely important, right? So as you just mentioned, it is very important to forecast the business. Projections is very important because projections not only helps you to do your pre-rush preparations, right? It also helps you to put the right number of people at the right hours in your own stores or restaurants, as you call it, right? So that's typically how we work, right? So this is where we're using a tech a lot, right? Right from the attendance to, we also keep saying that ACE is in place, right? So we have 3 certifications of all our team members, right? So during the peak hours, we scheduling the team members through tech is there that during the peak hours that we have the ACEs in place, right? Because that's where they're able to handle the peak hours well, right? So we use a lot of tech, right?
Is it also because coffee, you need baristas?
You need baristas, right? So we have, for example, 3 stations. One is cold beverage, one is the hot beverage and the food, right? A 3-station certified team member is better than a 2-station certified, right? 2 is better than 1, right? So during the peak hours, we just want to have all the 3-station certified team members. So how are you scheduling? Right now, if you leave it to different stores, because you're also talking about scale, right? You have 150 stores and then you have a vision to expand, right? How do you ensure that all these things are, through technology, is being driven, that this is happening day in, day out in all your restaurants, irrespective of, and then obviously there are exceptions, but we just see the exception reports. We don't get into daily those things. So it's much easier through technology to handle that, right? So because I think, and that saves a lot of seconds, it saves a lot of margins. Yeah. So in a way, it all gets connected to margins.
Perfect. I think labor scheduling using tech and studying and making sure your turnaround time for online orders is better. Great points. Amit, over to you.
So, Nomad is a delivery-only brand. If you look at, we started as a delivery-only brand, and for us, the first moment of truth is when the box enters someone's consumer's house, and I think packaging plays a really, really important. So, just if I go back, if I look at when I opened my first outlet, the number of boxes which I ordered and how they were stacked in the outlet versus how we handle inventory today is completely different, because we know exactly how many boxes are lying in our warehouses versus how many are lying in our outlet. I think that's really the game changer for us, because the way these cloud kitchens, if you look at the cloud kitchen, even a small rain can really destroy the inventory we are holding. So we need to really make sure that how we cut down the inventory and keep a track on how much we're supplying to each cloud on weekly basis. So I think that's really, and again coming back to the wastage point which we covered earlier, I think the more rigor you put on your wastages, I think better will be your margins are. So today we are working with for instance, I'll give you an example, we're working with a packaging vendor who will give you exactly a count of how many boxes of 12-inch he's holding in Jaipur at his warehouse and how many we are holding at our outlet. Now understand what it does to us. Like earlier we used to do a stack of 100 boxes, now we do a stack of 25 boxes because we know that that particular outlet needs only 25 boxes and that particular week. So it just changes the whole game and it really improves our margin by at least 3 to 4%. So that's one space where we really spend a lot of time when it comes to tech, because we understand that this is the space we need to really improve your margins. The other space which is very interesting for us is giving dual goal to an employee. Like employee cost is really, really high. So how do I make sure the finance guy can do a dual goal of purchase, or he can do a procurement job because of the tech which is available right now? I think that is really what we've been teaching all our people at the corporate office, that you just don't do one function, you do multi-function, because the kind of tech support you've got, the speed at which we can work is really like, what a person could do about a year back now, he can he can do 3 jobs or 4 jobs, and that's really the change which we're trying to do in our company, and really is helping reducing the cost, number of people who are working, reducing the cost. So I think that these are 2 important places that tech really plays a very big role in.
Those are great points. Sadish, what pieces of tech are helping you?
What we do is, morning as soon as I get up, I look at MIS report. That is one report which, can you hear me? So the MIS report, what is the privilege report? What everybody knows, what is your entire privilege which is coming from? What is your aggregator privilege which is coming, what that's positive or negative? That's a report which everybody has to see. That is even data which is driven from your SAP or your ERP system. So that's a report which everybody has to see. If something happening in negative, then you have to take an action in particular dynamic or aggregator one. Second report which I see is a food cost report. Every day has report I go for food cost. Where exactly, what is the wastage, what is the TO versus actual, what is actual food cost, and what is the packing cost. And you have to just note, everything will come up with the red marking, green marking, and people know, and people also, the operation team will track on a particular way where exactly, which restaurant, where they are losing money in food cost. So that is one report, second report which we always see. And third report, as a tech CRM report, which normally everybody we look into it on daily basis, which are the how many customers are new customers, how many customers are repeat customers, and whether are we tallying with the average of new customers versus new repeat customer. So this is the tech we have used. In case if new customers more and the repeat customers are coming less in particular restaurants, then we have to deep dive and check what is happening in the particular restaurant, or we have to use any promotion for bringing in dynamic customers. So these are the ways we can look into as a tech as adding advantage to us. And aggregator again, as we have last 3 years we are expanding more in aggregators, because my product is better than my competition product, because our product doesn't have a basmati rice. So where all we have a non-core basmati rice fans, so we penetrate those markets to get more customers into online business. So this all leverages I am taking in my business and bringing back the business. Thank you.
Thank you. After Shakir, we are going to take 2 audience questions. So in case any of you want to ask any of them any question, be ready. Shakir, what are the pieces of tech that are helping you and have really improved something which is worth mentioning?
I think I would want to start differently, because I would want to go back 2 or 3 decades early, because we've almost been 6-7 decades in the industry. And from being a single outlet for 30 years and then growing from there, because as a single outlet, one-man show, it worked really well because rather very precise in terms of our accounting. But as we started growing, we adapted tech at a very early stage from starting with the point of sale. I think the point of sale was where we reached 3 or 4 outlets where we could manage sales first. The cost was the second aspect, where we would get into the back end of the shop ordering, having a centralized kitchen. So we've grown, I think, rather very, into a very stable firm, and we've taken things step by step. So that until COVID, wherein we were not able to upgrade before COVID the last 5 years, because we held on to the old tech that was there to be focused on growing and then bringing it control. That was the the previous leadership's thought process. But post-COVID, when we reached a certain scale, I think the first thing that we started was on the cost aspect again, because the point of sale already present. we had to refine those KPIs and those SOPs that were already there. But when we started with the centralized format of doing procurement and then going to hub and spoke model, I think we started with looking at bill of materials for each dish. That had to be designed on a Power BI platform first, so we used that tech. Then I think from Restaurant Works, wherein we have a lot of the indenting system to stock management to reordering points. Then it was the last, I think the latest example I would take is the last 15 months where we introduced a manufacturing empowering solution, which is again built on a double IoT ecosystem. What does that do? That from the start of procurement, wherein we understand that as the first point of profit. Okay, getting the best of, from having a bidding system to how tenders can be called for, getting the best of quality materials, having a specific grade, everything is very systematic, there we recorded. And that again intellectually built into our procurement from receiving, where there are thermal cameras which are recording those temperatures, from having your weighing scales which are recorded to your system. So there is a 3-point validation across. So tech was used in, for me I think primarily what we did was tech was built in using, building more operational efficiencies, which had a direct impact on our cost numbers. So I think when I said first point of profit, we started from the back. Then we came into the restaurant, because when we brought in more efficiency at the back end, what came into the restaurant was at a minimal conversion stage, where the cost was already calculated as a standard cost method, having long-term contracts and working with predictive analysis, which was a hot thing for us the last 3 years, and we collected enough data for us to have this predictive analysis, not just limiting to one city today. And thanks to Swiggy and Zomato having multiple cities, they share data with us. So we understand hot zones, so we look at on-demand production, having algorithms which are based in a way that 1.8% of that tolerance or threshold is achieved.
That is quite powerful, and Shadu, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to take one question, but before that, I should tell you something. What is really bad. First of all, आप लोगों ने सुना शाकिर ने बोला रेस्टोरेंट्स यूज किया. Important है क्या बता रहे हैं? I think for all of you, one thing that I can tell you from this panel, which for me is a takeaway that I would love to deliver to every restaurant entrepreneur sitting in the audience. I don't know how many of you got ideas or solutions to the problems that you have. But if, a barbecue nation, a third wave coffee, a nomad pizza, a Thalapakati biryani, even McDonald's, an empire, if they had margin problems, and if they can bring it down to 1% or 1.5% wastage, so you can. I think the idea of these panels should never be solutions. आपको प्रॉब्लम सहने की शक्ति मिलनी चाहिए. आपको लगना चाहिए कि इनका भी खराब चल रहा है, मेरा भी खराब चल रहा है, तो मेरा तो एक ही है, ठीक कर लेंगे. But before we end this, I would love to take one or two audience questions. You can raise your hands. Is there somebody passing the mic? I can see Sapna. No? You can take. Shiv, you wanna on the mic? Can you hear me? Yes.
Hi, very good afternoon all. So I represent a company called Grey Matters, which is into the AI landscape, but specifically I won't be talking about the AI here. Probably talking about the restaurants or the F&B industry, since I have been working within the hospitality sector, specifically focusing the F&B industry and the restaurants.
What's your question?
So basically my question is like, as the session agenda says that, how tech is adding profitability to the restaurants industry. So since I have been into this industry from past 4 years, and I've been selling point of sale system to the restaurants. So whenever I go to any restaurant, I meet the restaurant owners or their IT managers or the operations manager. So they always say tech is hardly adding any profitability to their margin as far as the food delivery or any food processing is concerned. वो कहते हैं कि रक्षक जब भी आता है रेस्टोरेंट में घुसता है वो अपना पॉइंट ऑफ सेल सिस्टम तो बेच के चला जाता है rather than it is software or the hardware or the payment solution. But वो ये नहीं समझा के जाता कि what ROI they are getting or how it is actually adding to their profitability. So I heard to the panelists, they said, the wastage.
आपका ये क्वेश्चन किससे? Is there
all the panelists, if they say the technology is adding.
All got any one, pick one.
Probably Ahmed, because he added some technology here. So probably if he can highlight some products, which they are actually using, some software, or he probably name some of the software or the technology. So I could go back and do some my R&D.
Ahmed, go on.
Thank you.
So मैं जैसे समझ पा रहा हूँ कि you want to know what product of IT is adding value or adding margin benefits.
नहीं, Ahmed, he is saying टेक्नोलॉजी वाले आते हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी बेच के चले जाते हैं, कोई कुछ बताता नहीं है कि क्या करना है. पॉइंट ऑफ सेल या कोई भी रेस्टोरेंट टैक्स से वैल्यू ऐड हो रही है या नहीं हो रही है?
Because आप लोग कह रहे हो कि टेक्नोलॉजी से प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऐड हो रही है, बट since I've been working in ground, मैं रेस्टोरेंट ओनर से मिलता हूँ, nothing but for coffee, burger, I've met a lot of restaurant owners and IT operations manager, but they never say कि it is actually adding to the profitability. वो कहते हैं इसमें सिर्फ इन्वेस्टमेंट ही है, and it is hardly adding to the profitability.
Sure.
So it is contradictory.
Thank you. Amazon.
So correct. See, the right audience, कौन उसका सवाल जानेगा? Because at the end of the restaurant end, उनको पूछोगे तो they were always उनके लिए एक्स्ट्रा काम है, to input करना है, ये डालना है, ये टाइम पे क्रंच करना है, ये बटन दबाना है. So for a restaurant guy, कहीं ना कहीं उनको लगता है कि मेरे लिए additional burden ही है. But that insights, the person or the team sitting on the top or the operators who want to take certain decisions, unless the information is available, they can't take any decision. The CEOs and CTOs sitting on the top need data to take decisions, and that data will come only from the systems, and that will not have just value, that have lots of values.
Japrit, you want to take this?
So, I have a point for the previous question then. So, see, you come in as somebody selling technology. So, is the customer, who's the IT department at the restaurant, going to say that I want to pay more for it, or are they going to say I want to pay less for it? If they want to say if they want to pay less for it, they're definitely going to say मेरा कोई फायदा नहीं होता, मैं दे रहा हूँ, right sir?
Do we have time? No. Okay. So time is up. You can take your question offline. But thank you, gentlemen. Thanks to all of you for being candid, for sharing your numbers, for giving showing some part of your pain to the audience, so that they can gain some strength. And to all of you, you should definitely not leave these gentlemen outside the room and chat with them for the ideas that they've given you. Thank you. Thanks to all of you.
And while they're gathering to felicitate the panel, could I get Suri come over here, please? Along with the panel itself, in the workshop, session 2 was hosted by Siddharth Jogani, founder of Restaverse. We'd like to felicitate him as well. So, Siddharth, if you could join us on stage, please. Ahmed. Shakir Hutt. Shakir, once we're done, can you teach me how you do this also? And of course, our moderator, Ashish.